Hey guys, it's Ellen and Vernon. What's
We're here live at Family Tree, and we decided that we wanted to start creating some videos together.
Yeah.
Anyone that is familiar with the practice, I would imagine is familiar with Mark Smith, who's the director here, and he frequently puts out videos, and we told him that we were going to compete with him a little bit, friendly competition. And so we decided what was our topic for today's uh, video: how to use therapy effectively.
Yep.
Right, right.
We both put our top things down for how to use therapy effectively. We both happen to have 8 exactly. So we'll see if
Wasn't the
our
plan. Wasn't the plan.
if our 8 are the same. So we haven't heard these from each other yet, but they're both gonna be great. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Just, I guess, to give a little background on why we chose the topic. We both handle the phone here at Family Tree on and off, kind of balance back and forth. And I think in doing so, we come across a lot of potential clients as well as clients that we now meet with. And that's kind of inspired us, as far as what we see, questions that were asked, things that we pick up on. And so I think this is a good starter video for us, but for others out there that maybe haven't considered therapy, or maybe have done therapy in the past but it didn't work out for them. So, how can you maximize, this opportunity, to utilize and really benefit from therapy? So,
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and get started. Ellen, I'll let you start us off with
You let me start.
yeah, with your. These aren't in any specific order, I don't think. Are yours in order?
Kind of, no.
Okay.
I don't know.
Mine aren't in
not
order.
really.
Mine aren't in order.
Not really. The first one though is really important. So, number 1, I have when you come into the therapy room, bring honesty, guys. Bring the real stuff. Bring the real things. Um, and there's 2 parts to honesty. One is usually when we talk about honesty, we think the opposite of that is lying, right? Is fabricating something in place of the truth. But usually in the therapy room, which is obviously important not to do that. Don't do that. Bring honesty, don't lie. Um, but it's also important to remember and think about not omitting truth. So if you're telling me the truth, but you're only telling part of it, or you're only bringing part of it, we're not seeing the whole picture, right? That's like you're handing me a pair of binoculars and like one of the eyes is like blacked out, right? Like I can't see the whole picture. And so we can't really, we can't give you the greatest assessment and we can't give you the greatest treatment if we don't have all the information. So, it's a hard thing to do, but bring the truth, guys.
Yeah. Actually, that was somewhat on my list. It was uh, probably on the back burner.
Should we bounce back and forth?
Yeah, we can bounce.
What do you have that has to do with that?
But I was going to say that something I put on there was I just wrote down unguarded, and I see that a lot of times with new clients where the first couple of sessions, obviously we're getting to know one another, and we want to create a safe space, and we want to allow time for that. But the best way for a therapist to be able to assist in this therapeutic journey is for you to be authentic and, as you said, be honest. And so the word unguarded comes to mind because if you're omitting a lot of information, doesn't mean therapy won't be beneficial for you, but to get the most out of therapy, I think it's really important to come very authentic, very open, unguarded, so everything's kind of out there. And I think that goes back to creating that therapeutic relationship, which we try to do early on, first couple of sessions. So I kind of separate the first 2 sessions from that because we're just getting to learn one another and feeling each other out and creating that safe space. But I definitely had that on my list. I think that's a good one.
And it's hard to come in and tell all the honest things to a stranger, right? So that's part of why in those first few sessions, right, it's going to be, I'm not saying it's not going to be difficult, but it's definitely going to help your therapy go more effectively and benefit you more at the end of the day. And like Unguarded too. The other thing I thought of when you said that was sometimes we may have some guards up and we don't realize that we do, and that's okay. But being aware, being open to the idea that, hey, maybe I am being a little guarded when we point it out or we like ask about it, right? Just being open to that idea and that concept. That kind of goes into my number two, to a point. Um, be ready to question yourself, right? Be ready to question what you're thinking and to have that questioned, right? Part of the point of therapy is to change the way that you think, change your perspective, widen your perspective, right? Um, and to start to look at the patterns and the behaviors that you're in and start to think about, okay, how did we get there? Like, what's really at the root of this? And that's what's going to help us start to move forward and start to change and work on some of that stuff, right? And that's what you're coming in for. So
Yeah, I like that. Challenging yourself, but also I encourage my clients to challenge me. Um, you know,
that's like my three.
oh, that's your three. Yeah, challenge not only yourself but the therapist.
We didn't play this, guys. We did not plan
no,
this.
no. This is just that's how it is.
We're psychic.
Yeah. Challenge yourself, but also challenge the therapist. I encourage my clients to do that because, you know, you as the client, you're going to know better than anyone your life journey and the things that you're going through. It's our role, I believe, to facilitate that journey, but in no way for me to take control of that. And so I'm always open to hearing, hey, I don't know if I view it that way, or that's not as accurate to me, because that creates conversation, and I think that puts us in the position where we have those deep conversations that are really important. Which brings me to one of the ones I have on my list, which is, therapy is collaborative. So it's the therapist's responsibility to facilitate and guide, but it is the client's responsibility of being prepared uh, when they're coming to the therapy sessions. I'm big on collaborative. And it was just making me think, I know we have a lot of conversations, especially with Mark, our director, just surrounding that idea. There have been sessions, I'm sure therapists have had sessions where it's very slow or there's not a lot of conversation going on, and I think that's a misconception in society of it's the therapist's job to
make the magic happen.
Right. Bring everything to the session and work their magic, and that's not necessarily accurate. Like I said, it's our job to facilitate.
It's just not how the magic happens. Magic can happen, but that's not. We don't just doesn't just come out of thin air, right? We need you guys to bring your stuff, bring your honesty, bring your real truth, bring your real pain, and then we start working on the magic.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it kind of just shifted into something I had on my list. I thought it kind of tied in. So, but we can go ahead and head back to your list. But you said your number 3 was.
But 3 is kind of related to its curiosity about the process. It kind of goes with what it's like, almost the same as what you said, or definitely ties in with that, right? The concept of it being a collaborative process, right? And knowing that you guys, like the client, you're the expert on yourself, right? You're the expert on your life. We're the clinical experts, right? We're the counseling experts, but you're the expert on your life, and on your experiences, right? Because you're the ones that experience those. So just having that curiosity about the process and having an open mind and asking, I encourage clients to ask about the process and say, well, what what are we trying to get at here? Like, why did you ask that, or why did you not ask this, right? Just curiosity. Just bring that curiosity.
Yeah. I would agree. I think we're on. This would be my 3. I'm gonna kind of combine my 3 and 4 here, just because I feel like they go hand in hand. And the first one is, don't let the cost of therapy discourage you. I recently spoke with someone on the phone today, and I was giving them our current fees. We do operate out of pocket here at Family Tree. Um, and her response was, how do people afford you? Um, and I think that's one of the biggest barriers in the therapeutic field is the cost. And I think there's a separate video that we could create that talks about, the cost of therapy and why it is what it is. But there's a lot of things that go into that I think clients don't see. It's the inner workings. And as a therapist, a private practice therapist, if we're not working, we're not getting paid. And even when we're not meeting with clients, there are a lot of things that we're still doing, whether it be reading books, on the phone, sending emails, just different things like that. I know that's something that I hear a lot, the price, the price, the price. And I speak for myself here. I do operate on a sliding scale fee. Um, if anybody's interested, so my hourly fee is $90 per hour. I do offer a sliding scale fee for that fact. I want to make it accessible to everyone. But just kind of going off that, like I said, I was going to combine 3 and 4, and off of that, allowing 4 sessions, I kind of just freestyled that number of 4 sessions, but is what I tell all potential clients. Um, I've had a lot of clients that will ask, hey, can uh, I have a free session slash consult to see if this is going to be, beneficial. And, I do offer free 15-minute consultations, not a full hour. But I believe in what clients are asking, and they want to make sure that it's a good fit. And so I always just say, give yourself that opportunity to fill it out. Unless there are any red flags that are obvious early on, give yourself that 4 session minimum to see how this is going to go. It's easy to go to one session and say, hey, I'm not going to go back. And sometimes, like I said, there are red flags that warrant that. But I've seen more often than not where individuals will have 1 session or 2 sessions and just stop going, and they don't gain a lot from that, and it kind of skews your experience with therapy. And I definitely don't want that for potential clients. I want everyone to have a solid and authentic experience. But those are my 3 and 4. Don't let the cost discourage you. There's a lot that goes into that. But then, committing to, you pick the commitment. But I say 4 sessions. That seems like enough time to.
Yeah, you definitely, if you're going to invest the time and money, you may as well come and give yourself at least those, like Vernon had said, I'd say that's about right, maybe 3 to 5 sessions to give yourself the opportunity to see if it's to see what it's about, to see what it does for you, to see what potential you see, and to get some feedback from us, right? In the first few sessions, there's a lot of assessment, right? And we're building a lot of that therapeutic relationship. And when that's happening, you're probably not getting as much feedback. But that's the first few sessions, right? We don't know you. So we've got to get some of that assessment stuff down. So definitely anywhere, I'd say anywhere that you go for therapy, give it the 3 to 4 sessions, even if it's not here, even if this isn't the fit for you, that's okay. But definitely if you're going to invest the time and money, be ready to give yourself those first 3 to 4 sessions for sure. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'll put my 4 and 5 together, so they kind of go together. My number 4 says, bring the shit. So
I already like it.
Bring the pain. So we talked about honesty, we talked about truth. So when I ask you something, tell me the truth. And if something pops in your head and you want to omit it, don't do that. Bring it to me. Even if it is, like, sometimes it's a positive thing that we may be shying away from and don't want to share for whatever reason, or something we feel is positive, but even that, right, we're going to share that too. But especially the pain and the hard stuff, right? That's the point of therapy, is to start and work through some of that. So you've got to bring it to session. That's what you're coming here for, right? Um, and that goes along with uncomfortable feelings. I have those kind of as a subset because most people think about uncomfortable feelings and they're assuming pain, which oftentimes pain is uncomfortable. Um, but sometimes too, especially if we have like a lot of negative core beliefs about ourselves, like even just listing some positives from our day might be something that's pretty difficult for us, or pretty difficult to take ownership of or take pride of. Sometimes pride is an uncomfortable feeling for clients, right? If it's something that we're not used to. Um, so no matter what it is, uncomfortable feelings, be ready. Be ready to bring those. Be ready to experience them in the therapy room. But it's all no pain, no gain, as they say. That's where the growth comes in too. So
Absolutely, bring the shit.
Bring the shit.
I think I like that just because it has some emphasis on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you use cuss words, it kind of just I don't know. Maybe it's an infatuation with cuss words. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll learn that we obviously both cuss in our therapy room, so we'll dispel that myth now.
We're very
The therapists don't.
going off of your list, I think the authenticity.
Yeah. We'll give you that back.
Is I think something that the two of us are really grounded in, and you know I don't want viewers to think that we're sailors in our sessions. That's definitely not the case.
I am. You're not. Just kidding.
She's speaking for herself. But we're joking, but the authenticity, and so that's really big for us. And so what you see is what you're going to get. It's very authentic. It's very genuine. No cookie cutter. So
it's true.
That's just something about us that we're really promoting for not only us, but as family tree continues to grow. That's something that we want to provide.
Definitely each our own therapist, for sure.
Absolutely.
A little different feel, a little different style, but what you see is definitely what you get. And authenticity is the common vein between all of us, right? You give us honesty, we give you authenticity. So
yes,
good stuff.
Yes, I guess I'm the last. I have my fifth, right? You went through. Are we doing 5?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead. Something that I had. I have one more, and then I'll kind of let you go.
Okay.
My 5th on the list is homework, and I say that I'm not a fan of homework. I've never been a fan of homework. I don't believe in homework. I didn't like homework in school. I didn't do my homework all the time. But when I say homework, I'm not meaning physical homework. I mean applying what's being discussed and learned in the therapy session outside of the therapy session. Again, I think there's this misconception with therapy that the real work happens in session, which I think
session only,
right,
which isn't true.
Which I think is fairly accurate. There's a lot that
work, there's a lot of work that
accomplished.
happens in session, but not all of the work, right? And that applying to life is going to happen outside of session. Yeah. That's where you pick up the responsibility, right, as the client.
Yeah, especially with my couples. I like to view the 1 hour each week because that's typically what it is. It's like practicing. We're coming together and we're practicing and we're preparing. Anyone that's played sports, the therapy session is the practice, for the Friday and Saturday night games. And Friday and Saturday night games are the times that are outside of the session. That's where you're applying and you're growing and you're gaining the insight. And so really not taking that break. When you're meeting with us, it's typically 60 minutes out of a 7-day week, which is not a lot. And so it does, that responsibility that we talk about, being dedicated to, that responsibility to growing and putting yourself in recovery is so important. And so that's my 5th. It's homework, but it's not really homework. I'm going to put that out there because I don't believe in homework.
Really doesn't like homework.
just so everyone knows that.
My clients know that I will use the word homework, and I'll say, like, think about this, or like, just, work on positive thoughts. So I guess I will give you homework, that's true. And I will tell you to, like, read books and things that I think will be very helpful for you. So there you go.
Bookworm.
Difference between us.
I like books. I have books they can read.
I didn't say you don't like books.
Okay.
But I do use the word homework, so I wanted to be authentic and tell you guys that. I do say that. My clients know that. They've heard that already. I have work on self next, meaning be ready to work on yourself. If you're coming in and wanting things to change in your life, right, and you're the client coming in to do the work, that's going to be work on yourself. It's particularly when we talk about couples, right? When you're coming in, and if all of it is like, well, he did this, she did that, she does this, she does that, that's not going to help you necessarily. Playing the blame game, like, you've probably been doing that, right, sometimes for years, and it clearly hasn't helped. So, and it's not to say that you should blame yourself. That's not the idea either. But rather to think about, what can I take responsibility for here, and be open to the idea of what can I work on for me personally. Whether you're an individual client or in a couples, that's always the mindset that you want to be coming in with, is what am I working on today for me, for myself.
I think even when we talk about on your list, bringing the shit, right? I think a lot of times, especially in couples, what I see is it's typically one-sided, where it's the other person's fault. If they wouldn't do this, or if they would do that, things would be different. And so it's important, to work on the self. So what is my shit? I always describe it as, what's my 50%. Anytime in a relationship, it's co-created, right? Sometimes there may be a superficial off balance, if you will, but focusing on what are you bringing to this relationship? What can you work on? And by focusing on you and less on the other person, it allows that other person to take responsibility for their shit and work on it. And so that you can take a step back, and you're not feeling like everything's on your plate, which can be very overwhelming. So I do like working on self, absolutely.
And I think the step back too is you're almost stepping up for yourself in a way, because a lot of times when we take that quote unquote step back from our partner, it's us having to step forward and more into our shit, and more into, oh hey, this is actually this uncomfortable feeling that I was feeling, and I was maybe kind of running away from that by pointing outwards, or like externalizing. So definitely having that mindset of thinking back to, well, what effect am I having here? What does this say about me? What am I thinking and feeling? Other people, we like to think that other people make us feel some type of way. Rather, a way to think of it is, we feel a certain type of way in a certain situation, and it's not necessarily always personal to the person, right? So we may experience it more often with one particular person, but it's rather the situation, and thinking about, well, why does that situation take me off so much? Like, why is that such a trigger for me? So that was my last major one.
That was your wrap up. Hold on, it sounds like you got one more. We got time for one more.
We do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have one more?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, thanks, Vernon.
Yeah.
I'll do. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this on this video or not, but we'll put it. Thinking about when you're first coming into therapy, thinking about what some of your intention is and what some of your goals are for yourself. Sometimes I'll have clients come and say, "Well, I just want to feel better." Everybody wants to feel better, right? That's true, but also like vague. Like, what does better mean for you? Like, is that where you're not feeling this? There's some feeling that you don't want to feel as much. There's something that you're trying to get more of. Is there a certain behavior change that you're looking for? Like, just kind of thinking about some of that intention. Maybe before you come in is gonna, and of course, well, if you're not sure and it's something that you're struggling with, we'll help you clarify that. But it's something that if you want to maximize your therapy use, you can certainly start to think about it before you come in the door. So, just want to think about.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one. It's a good one to wrap up on.
Cool.
That's well, that's our list. It started out as supposed to be the top 5 from both of us. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
The top-ish.
The top-ish, you know.
The top stuff.
Anything between 5 and 12, I think that we went through today. But you know, in all seriousness, I think these are things that, at least for on our end, we find to be very beneficial in how to effectively use therapy and really maximize, as Ellen mentioned, and really benefit from it. And that's what we have. You know, this was our first video, so we're going to continue to improve. You know, if there's anyone out there watching, and there are topics that people would like to hear about, let us know about those.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, so we can, you know, produce some of those videos. That's all we have today. I guess as we wrap up, you know, feel free to give us a call here at Family Tree, or reach out to us individually. My phone number is 463-336-1313. My email address is Vernon Billups, so my first and last name, at familytreecounseling.com. You can reach out to me either way. Yeah, that's me.
And
go ahead and drop
I shall give my contact info too. So mine is my phone number 317-778-0373. You can call or text anytime. And my email is Ellen.Cohen, Cohen, at familytreecounseling.com. And you can also see both of our profiles on familytreecounseling.com. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's it
we
for today.
We appreciate you watching, and we'll see everyone next time.
See you guys.